Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is the fact that Glasgow is now the first place in the United Kingdom where you can take drugs, illegal drugs, legally. So what happened yesterday, we give you some background. Scotland has for the last few years been the worst place in Europe for drug deaths. We've been most appalling at it. And we've been quite considerably worse than the rest of the UK, which is pretty bizarre, right? Because you would think some of our drugs policies, as in laws, are controlled by the government UK, but the actual implementation of drug policies, rehabilitation, etc., is governed by Hollywood. So some rules were all the same, but the stuff like getting folk off drugs and stuff is a devolved power. We can do whatever we like. And some people were arguing that that was not the case. I have had arguments with Scottish nationalists about 6 months, or over the last 6 months, since the latest round of results came out that they were very bad at drug deaths, who were saying, but we don't control drug policy. Okay, I think yesterday's knocked that one in the head. All right, if you want to, anybody needs any proof that the Scottish Government can control Scottish drug policy, it was yesterday when Johnny Swinney and his wee pal Neil Gray, he sort of get papped to the back right enough. The guy that's the health minister. I don't think he got allowed to talk to anybody. Johnny the Daddy Johnny, he took the mics and done some ridiculous interviews. So anyway, we've opened this drugs consumption centre, rooms, whatever you want to call it, just outside the Glasgow city centre boundaries at the east end of Glasgow. I think it's Calton is where the actual building is. And that's going to magically be... I don't see any other strategy right now from Scottish Government. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, stick your comments below, right? I'm not a specialist in this. I just talk to people who are, okay? And I don't see any other strategy in Scottish Government right now to help this horrific figure of drug deaths. And I believe in the whole of Scotland, because there are two schools of thought. You can let people take drugs and that will help reduce the numbers, or you can rehabilitate people who are on drugs and that will reduce the numbers, right? So there's two sort of schools of thought here. And this school of thought that think we want to rehabilitate people, I've got one big problem there. For the whole of Scotland, this is a country with the worst drug deaths in Europe. We have a total of 140, and that is debatable, it may be slightly smaller, beds in Scotland to rehabilitate people. I mean, you consider you're no in and out in a day. How many people are, we're not even into four figures of the amount of people in Scotland that can benefit per year from rehabilitation for their addictions. So we've now got a dilemma. Because either these people are right, the ones that think we should rehabilitate, which includes me, or these people who say, just let people take drugs safely, that'll stop the drug deaths. Where we got these people can only theoreticalise that that's going to work because we can't provide right now enough support for rehabilitation to prove it will work. Which is a bit bizarre, isn't it? So we're going to give this a wee shot first, and I don't know how long we'll do the test before, if it does fail, which I kind of think it will, before we go, oh, that didn't work, right? But it'll buy them some time. It'll buy them some time probably till the next elections, where they say, oh, I've done something, right? We're working. It's like we brought 100,000 kids out of poverty when you didn't, and then it changed the words to we're bringing 100,000 kids out of poverty where you're not, which then became we hope to bring 100,000 kids out of poverty, which is common sense. Everybody would want that. And that's the kind of rhetoric and shite that the SNP spout regularly on lots of topics. And the latest one being drug deaths. And the reason somebody like myself has concerns about this and interested in this is I know people who have lost their lives through addiction. Some people, not family members, but people very close to me, people that I really had a lot of compassion for and really, really liked and loved them. And I've lost them. So I've got an interest in this. And I'm not anywhere near high up on the table of people that should be concerned about this. I see people, mothers losing sons and daughters, and people losing husbands and wives and brothers and sisters, and it is absolutely horrific. The people I've lost were close to me, but weren't family members, and that must be even more horrific to live through. So that's why I'm concerned about it. And the fact that we're the worst in Europe should concern everybody. And although, listen, I read it every time I put something out about drug addicts dying. Some people's opinion is, well, hell, slap it into them. It's their fault. And I can see that point of view. I don't agree with it. But I can see how people would get to that point of view. And it might be people who have had folk close to them who they felt were selfish being addicts. That's another concept that's going on here. But I think the vast majority of people would understand that addiction can hit any of us, by the way. Don't sit there in your high towers saying, "Oh, that doesn't affect me." It affects every single class in Scotland, right across the board, right across the sexes, right across religions and skin colour. Okay? But it's probably fair to say your working class white folk are the biggest losers in this, and that's because there's more of us. Okay? And your people at the other end of the scale, they can afford to go to your priories and stuff like that. The sort of working middle class can't. So although, and don't kid yourself that the upper class all the way down society, everybody's affected by this. It's addiction, right? It's no class. It's no a class-led thing. But the drug deaths are. It certainly is. It'll be a higher portion of people, lower, middle, particularly lower class people in unfortunate situations. And I've always had some compassion for these people when it's not always a decision that they've just been, I'm going to be a drug addict. There's lots of reasons people fall into it. A lot of people, I think the figures, I spoke to a child abuse survivor, an activist about this a number of times, and a number of people who are abused that fall into drugs. I'll not be far away from, I won't be, but it will not be far away from 100%. It's a frightening number. So do we say, they're the dregs of society, we don't need to know them, because that's the attitude some people give this problem. And a lot of people who have got these problems will have had issues that led them to them. They didn't wake up one morning and decide to be a heroin addict. It just was circumstance. So that's why I believe we need to combat it. And now, I do hope, I'm not going to sit here and wait for a year or two hoping that these consumption rooms don't make a difference. I would love them to. I just don't believe they will. And some of the biggest reasons for that is the people I spoke to in the industry of looking after addicts, who have looked at places, particularly Lisbon is one that's been used to compare with what we're doing in Glasgow, where it did have a bit of effect to start with, and then it went to shite. Because what we weren't doing was, and people thought this will work because we can get people in, we can talk to them, we can put them, counsel them, but we can counsel them all we like, but we can't give them what we need, and that's rehabilitation. Because there's no beds to put them in. So it becomes just a bottleneck of addicts, which you can't do anything with. And what's happened in a lot of areas is it's been an attractive thing for the drug dealers. Right? Drug dealers now are all in these places. And that's another topic I'm going to look at later. Another thing I hope to do is, you remember I spoke to Anne-Marie Ward, who is an advocate for rehabilitation. And I'd done a podcast with her a couple of months ago now about this problem. When the drug deaths thing came to my attention, and it shocked me. And I'm hoping to do another podcast with her about this consumption room in the next week or two. So hopefully we can get that out to you soon. But I'm not holding much hope. Let's get some money. I think it's £8 million a year they're putting into this. And I don't know how many beds that could give us extra to what now, but the other thing is, it shouldn't be a either or situation here. There is a possibility we could do both, but it doesn't seem to be the route the Scottish Government want to take. You could have consumption rooms and look at adding to the rehabilitation beds. But it kind of seemed a bit of resistance to that, and I don't understand why, but I'll try and find out. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If not already done so, please hit the subscribe and the notification bell. Give me your comments below, please, so I can hear your opinions on this topic. Most importantly of all, unless you're the type of crackpot that's single-minded and thinks this will work, we shouldn't try anything else until we've given this a go. Not you, but
everyone else. Have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.